Okay, family. Continuation of some of the things I'm learning from my business class. I'm going to share with y'all. One of the key factors in analyzing whether you have an opportunity to start a business or whatever the idea, if it's a good idea or not. One of the key things is your financial resource. Um, Financial resources, as well as social networks. So let's dig in a little bit about it. Social networks will deal with if you're entering into some type of business that requires you to have legitimacy among the consumers, um, among the pipeline of how sales go in or come in. Do you have uh, basically sign-offs of whether it's organizations, whether it's uh, influencers, to stand with you to bring some legitimacy to your business? You will find this even on social media. You find this even in entertainment business, like in the hip hop industry. If Jay-Z is standing next to an artist who he is endorsing, right? That artist immediately has some legitimacy for hip hop world to go check out that artist immediately. Um, so social networks, that involves all arenas of business. How y'all doing? All right. So, for example, as well, even I've seen it in like the spiritual world, spiritual business. Say a certain guru, or say a certain church, or ministry. If a certain bishop comes to that organization and speaks there and then endorse that pastor, right? That brings legitimacy to that area or to that community, where people would now begin to go and check out that pastor. Mosque, or if Farrakhan was to come and endorse me, right? And I was starting the mosque, right? That will bring some legitimacy to me for people to come check me who don't know nothing about me. So those are social networks. So that's one form. Before you start a business, you want to analyze. You want to think about, in this particular business, for me to be successful, do I need, is it a requirement for social networks uh, to for me to succeed? The other one, of course, is financial resources, which it seems very logical, but I know for myself, I haven't really thought about it in depth like an entrepreneur should. Uh, for example, in my readings, they give an example of someone starting a restaurant, right? You want to start a restaurant, um, but to have a restaurant, you need a place to do your business. One is certainly cooking utensils, cooking equipment. Where you say, well, I'm going to start out my home. I'm going to do takeout dinners. And so you then, for that example, you have to start evaluating um, the the amount that it would take for you to keep that going and scaling against the price of profits. Certainly, you don't want to be doing more work than that won't justify the profits. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of, to me, like upside down. You know, where your business is only breaking even, or you're breaking above even, but you got to work so hard night and day, long hours, you know, just to make a profit. You have to begin to evaluate, how can you, what they call economy scaling, scale it up in a sense where you have better equipment, where you can cook more for less time, where you can maybe bring on help to serve more dinners for less time, and scale it up even more where you can have maybe a place where people can gather, sit, and eat and enjoy one another's company, or even have events. They rent out the places, so forth, where you're scaling it up. So, do you have the financial resources to scale up that business where you're not just trapped in this working, you know, whatever it is, crazy 80 hours a week, and you're only profiting 10 or 20% of what you put into it, which is, to me, that's insanity. So before going into businesses, these are just some things I'm learning that you have to evaluate, which I think that this is part of why a lot of businesses do fail, because they don't realize how much financial money or resources you need to be successful in that particular market or into that particular field. You may be able to keep thinking and keep contemplating, which that's something I'm doing, into markets where your financial resources that you have access to right now can best fit a business model where you can have worthy, profitable gains. It makes me think that, like, that's part of the game that keep our people back, right? Because unless our people, we come together and begin to group our resources, not just as an individual, but as a group, which many other nations do this. You go to other nations, said Jews, said Italians, the said Japanese and Chinese folks, and even some of my said Hispanic brothers and sisters, how families, even in their family, they have family businesses that they group their resources so they can scale up, right, the business. One example, like music, I was reading, for example, I Googled how much does it take to make a hit single. You know, like, how much investment does it take to make a hit single? Now, it was the article, I think it was 2011, NPR article of 2011. If you Google the same thing, you probably find the same thing. I believe the article mentioned it took $1 million, $1 million to support a hit single. And it used the example of Rihanna. The case was saying that the reason why it takes so much is because when that single hit, you want that artist to be everywhere. You want to be on billboards. You want to be on radio. You want to be on television. You want to be at the awards. You want to be the social networks behind you. Have all these things in place at one time. When people hear the record, when people see you, they're seeing you everywhere at one time. So therefore, people know to go listen to the music or purchase the music and so forth. right? So today, that's 2011. Things have changed since 2011 with social media. I was trying to put in something for 2022, and I think it said for the independent artists, anywhere from $600 to maybe $850 to that an independent artist need to uh, use to put out a single behind that. So these are our financial resources. So what you would be doing is, before you enter into a business and you're looking to make substantial profits from, you have to ask yourself, how much do I need to compete in this market? How much financial resources do I need to compete in this market? So you may not have it. Other means is people, they seek ventures, like get people to invest into what they're doing. I think about, even back in the day, that's probably why you had a lot of rap artists, had a lot of the street life, the street game, the street culture, the street money that was behind them, the gangbangers that was behind them, supporting them financially to rise up and get past that big hurdle to compete with major labels, in a sense, through ventures of the thug life, if you will, right? Um, that's, they was able overcome. We could do that on the positive, right? We could do that on the positive. Wouldn't it be something? The Nation of Islam is doing that. I know little bits and nubs. I'm learning more about the Nation of Islam as well. I may be on my way over there, but I'm learning more about that. But also I think about how this can also happen within our Christian churches, right? The resource within a church through their members level in some industry. The thing is, sometimes you can't finance all businesses, but someone may have a business that can be scaled up by substantial resources. See, the thing about it is, the more financial resources that you have, the more inflow of finances you have, you will get better rates from your suppliers. You can scale up in a way where you begin to control certain aspects about your business that your competitors cannot compete with. You can, at the same time, begin to scale up your profits, your profit margin, in a way that will open up the opportunity to create other businesses. But if it's just me by myself and everybody is going for themselves, right? It's hard for our people to have that financial support that's needed to be successful in business. So yeah, I mean, even artists, it could be a group of artists, right? But if the group of artists got behind one artist that had the most momentum, and I would say, and the paperwork need to be done when you're talking about money and talking about money being returned. But if all the artists got together, pushed that one artist that had the momentum, in mind that as the one artist make it through, he will pull up the rest of the artists. That is obviously a great opportunity. But as we know, many stories, some people have done that. I want to say I've heard stories behind T-Pain here in Tallahassee, and that group that he was with, some fell out, like how T-Pain went off and just started doing his own, but he kind of got his momentum from the group. And then when he went off and did his own thing, kind of left them behind. Now, everybody have the two sides to it, but I'm not here to get into that. But my point of saying is that sometimes our people, we ride each other up to the top, and then when we get to the top, we don't look back to bring our brothers and sisters back up, right? That's a sin, that is that shouldn't be, because now we are taking on the traits of devil. We're taking on the traits of unrighteousness, and we are to be righteous. We're not just about trying to make the bag, but we're about trying to live in peace, be in harmony, everybody living in accordance and happiness and love and peace and in harmony and one with the great God and great creator. So these are some of my thoughts along with what I'm learning today. So certainly, before you start a business, begin to evaluate, or if you are in a business, evaluate the financial resources or the financial cost that it takes to be competitive and successful in that market, right? And then begin to be real with yourself, to ask yourself, can I and do I have the capabilities to, one, do I have the capital to do it, or can I raise the money to be able to be competitive in that business? It's Marshall. Peace and love, family. Hopefully y'all having a wonderful day today. I'll see y'all in the wind.